Hi, my name is Tony Liberto, President and CEO of Ricos Products Company. Family-owned business, Ricos Products. We started with my great-grandfather when he came over at the young age of 14 years old. He wanted to find the American dream. He's from Cefalù, Sicily, and he came over and he saw that America had, opportunity. And he went back and forth a couple of times, and he finally came over and he established a business. And he actually came through New Orleans, and he established a business in Shreveport, Louisiana, and had a nice family-owned grocery store there. And he had a few sons at that point in time, and malaria breaks out in Louisiana. And so he says, well, I got to get my family away from here. And so he moved the family business over to Beaumont. And he had a nice little family grocery store there. He sold everything from imported spices, olive oils, olives. He even sold beef. He had a side of beef. He was a butcher. And it was a nice little family business over there. And in the early 20s, he saw an opportunity to move his family from Beaumont to San Antonio. San Antonio was a little bigger town, a few more people. And he moved here in 1909, I believe, 1909 and 1911 is when he got to San Antonio. And he established the same little family-owned business. He had 7 sons, and my grandfather, Rico, his name was Enrico Liberto, was the second oldest. The oldest was Sam, and Sam started a radio station on his own. And so when my grandfather was ready to give family business to somebody, he gave it to my grandfather, Rico, Enrico Liberto. And he took over the business, and he had his other brothers working for him. And we were still a one-stop shop here in San Antonio. We had different locations. We moved around the city a while. And in his early 60s, he developed glaucoma, and he became legally blind. And my dad was an only child, and I guess he saw that would be an easy succession plan, my grandfather, and not have to worry about 7 sons. So he had 1 son, and that's all they had. And so my dad was in the Army Reserves at the time when his dad became legally blind. He said, okay, I'll go to work for the family business. So my dad came to work for the family business in, I guess, the mid-50s. And still a one-stop shop here in San Antonio. We sold a lot of different places. He had a barbecue route going down into South Texas. And we were selling, a lot of confection goods. If you back up, my grandfather in 1921, the circuses were coming through San Antonio, and he was selling roasted coffee. He'd buy the coffee beans from Italy, and he'd roast coffee. And he saw these circuses coming through town, and he says, if I could roast some peanuts, I could sell roasted peanuts to these people coming to the circus. So in 1921, he started selling roasted peanuts. Well, that got us in what we call the concession industry. Selling product to people that didn't come to that facility or that location to buy that specific concession item. They came to watch the circus or to watch the movie or watch the ball game. And so he started selling peanuts. And in 1921, he sold over 400,000 pounds of roasted peanuts. So he was selling a lot of roasted peanuts. So that got us into that type of business. So go back to my dad. When he took over the business, he was really good at understanding how to sell to those type of vendors. People, they're selling to people that didn't come to the location to buy the product, the food. They came to watch a ball game or a circus or a festival or something like that. And that's why we got involved in that concession industry. And so he took over the business. He found opportunity to buy distributions in Dallas and Houston to expand our product, expand our base. And he started selling to theater concessions. He became a full-line theater distributor. So if you walked into a movie theater and you looked at that concession stand, he carried everything behind that concession stand in his warehouse, from the candies to the cups to the paper products to the beverages to the equipment, the popcorn equipment, everything. He carried everything in the warehouses. And so we were a full-line concession distributor. And we started building that business up. And as we were in Dallas, we also got Dallas Cowboy Stadium. And we got the Texas Ranger Stadium, that he was just distributing concession items because those are big concession venues. And he got the idea. He came to San Antonio. He was at a Mexican restaurant, and he got served an order of nachos. And he says, if I could figure out how to sell nachos in a concession environment, I think we could make some money. So he found a vendor for cheese. He found a vendor for chips. He found a vendor for peppers. And he said, okay, let's go over to Texas Stadium. That's what they called at the time, where Texas Rangers played. Arlington Stadium, I mean. And he says, hey, we want to sell you guys this new product called nachos. And they said, no, we don't want that because we sell a lot of popcorn, we sell a lot of hot dogs, and we don't want another item to cannibalize those sales. And he goes, really, I think you should try it. And they said, okay, if you make your own standalone cart, we'll let you put them here in the foyer of the stadium. And so he said, okay. So we made about 8 or 9 nacho carts, and he put them in Arlington Stadium, and he started selling nachos. And the lines started getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. And it became a hit. I mean, he has video of people lined up 10, 12 people deep, and the crack of the bat, and it's like it's just crowds screaming like there's a home run, and people just kind of looking to the side saying, what was that? But they stayed in line. They didn't want to get out of line. They wanted to have those nachos. So the funny thing happened, they came back to my dad and said, hey, we want to go ahead and put you in every one of the stands here in the stadium. He goes, after you guys had nachos in the stadium, beverages went up, of course. Hot dogs increased in sales, and so did popcorn. And it was because of one little ingredient called the jalapeno pepper. So after you finish ordering nachos and you have that spice in your mouth, everyone says, okay, I'm going to go get another drink, or I'm going to go get some popcorn, or I'm going to go get a hot dog. So it increased the per caps on all their concession items and became a hit overnight. After that, Texas Stadium, where the Cowboys played, called him and said, hey, we want nachos here. And so he put nachos in Texas Stadium. And those were the first two venues that we introduced Ricos Nachos. So, of course, the buzz started happening about Ricos Nachos. And a theater chain that was based out of Dallas, United Artists Theaters, their home office was in Dallas. They called Dad and said, hey, we want nachos here in our, all of our theaters for United Artists. And Dad said, no. He said, no, that's a messy item. I mean, you guys got velvet seats, you got carpeting. He goes, you're going to call me for the cleaning bill. He goes, it's not a good item for theater concessions. It's really messy. And they said, no, we really want to try it. And they agreed to give them 10 theaters for a test. So he put the 10 theaters, he put nachos in. And they called him like 30 or 45 days later and said, Frank, you owe me a lot of money. And Dad said, I told you, just tell me where I send the money, what cleaning service, we'll pay for the cleaning. And they said, no, we wanted to put it nationwide for the last 45 days, and you only gave us 10 theaters. You know how much money it'll cost us? How much it cost us from not giving this to us nationwide for the last 45 days? They said, roll it out right now. So then we got national distribution in United Artists Theaters of nachos. And then it just kind of steamrolled from there. It became an item that every theater concession wanted, all ballparks and stadiums wanted. And then as United Artists continued to grow, they bought a theater chain in Germany. And they called my dad and said, can you get your nachos into Germany? And Dad said, I'll figure it out. And so we found a distributor over in Germany, had them order our product. They put it in their distributor, ship over in Germany, and they started selling United Artists the Ricos Nachos in Germany. So we became an international company through that expansion. And now the rest is history. Today we're selling in all 50 states. We're in retail outlets, H-E-B, Sam's, Walmart, Kroger, Albertsons, and other labels across the United States in all 50 states in retail. And we're also in 61 different countries around the world.
Wow.
So that's the nutshell version. Sorry, it was pretty long. We've had a marketing agency we've been engaged with for the last 5-6 years. They've really helped us get our branding recognized, I should say. If you would talk to people that buy products at retail and you'd ask them, if you heard of Ricos Products, they're like, Ricos? No, because we really weren't a retail grocery store type of a brand. We've built that brand over the years using a lot of help from the agencies and their marketing efforts. And now you got social and digital, which is even easier to get your branding out. They came to us with an idea that they said, you know what, we have an idea for your next campaign. And it just so happened to be an actual campaign year, 2024. And they said, yeah, we think it'd be really great. Campaign years are never fun. There might be some difficulties for people, but we think we could put, some smiles on people's face and have a campaign called Vote for Rico. And Rico is our mascot, of course. And so they said, yeah, Rico's going to run for head of cheesy affairs. And I said, you know what? Let's do it. And it sounds like a great idea. We've kicked it off in January, I believe we kicked it off. And people are loving it. It's putting a smile on people's face. We stand for, good nachos, cheesy goodness, nachos for everybody. Rico loves all, so He's running for head of cheesy affairs. I do like barbacoa.
Okay.
A lot.
So what do you think about barbacoa on nachos?
I think it's a great idea. I'm sure people have done it. This is not an item you see on a menu yet. Maybe some restaurants are carrying it, but I think it's a great item.
Maybe it'll catch on.
I hope so. Help people sell more nachos, that's for sure, and more barbacoa.
Definitely.
Sure.
And one more question. What's your favorite taco?
My favorite taco. I am a plain Jane kind of guy. I love a crispy beef taco with lettuce and tomato and onion. Now, you're talking about breakfast taco or lunch tacos? That's my lunch taco, right?
What about
If you're
breakfast?
talking about breakfast taco, I'm sorry, I'll go back to the breakfast time. I do order barbacoa with avocado slices, not guacamole. Avocado slices and cilantro and onions, that's one of them. Another one is a traditional, just a bacon, egg, and cheese on corn tortilla.
You never forget the feeling, the crack of the bat, the crunch of shoulder pads, the squeak of sneakers on hardwood. Thanks to Ricos, you'll never forget the taste either. Ricos introduced concession nachos in 1976, and they're still here for all the memories to come. Ricos, nacho like it's 1976.